Well, hello, my friends, and thank you for joining me here in the Shed of Knowledge for another Something Interesting. Well, we're toasty warm in here as the snow is falling outside. We're having a snow event here in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is kind of rare for a coastal community. So you get snow on the beach. That's something interesting. So that doesn't count, though. That's not, I'm not going to give you a 25-second something interesting. Oh, no. You know me better than that. Today's something interesting is going to be inspired by somebody asking me a question that I didn't know the answer to. And that was, why is the Black Sea called the Black Sea? Is it black? Is it dark? Are the waters dark? That sort of thing. I didn't have an answer to that. And in fact, I don't really have a good answer to it now. I have some conjecture and some supposition that I might could throw your way. But I will give you a little bit of a history of the name of the Black Sea. But whenever we talk about the Black Sea, that really clicked in me because the Black Sea is the mother of all weird seas. You know what I mean? It is a true oddball and a truly unusual, a sea with truly unusual properties. And so I thought, oh my goodness, the Black Sea is too good to do something on. We as Americans don't learn a lot about the Black Sea. See, Europeans like to visit the Black Sea. They'll go to Romania and Bulgaria, to, Sunny Beach and some of these places along the Black Sea coast for vacations and things like that. But Americans don't. I mean, we don't really think of Bulgaria as a travel spot or whatever. By the way, the Black Sea is ringed by 6 countries, and basically all that Americans kind of learn in geography is that the Black Sea is a sea that's almost entirely surrounded by land. It's a landlocked sea. So that's about all we learn that's unusual or anything that we learn about the Black Sea. But the Black Sea is full of interesting things. And I'm actually not even going to go deep into the history of the Black Sea because we're talking about the Romans, we're talking about, lighthouses and ancient civilizations and all these things, and Snake Island and other, all these islands that are described in Pliny the Elder's. I mean, you know what I mean? We're talking about ancient texts and things like that. I'm not even going to go into the history of the Black Sea. I'm just going to talk about the unusual physical properties of the Black Sea as it exists today and theoretically as it has existed for thousands of years. But the Black Sea is, like I said, the mother of all oddball seas. I guess we'll just start with the naming of it to answer that question. The first time we see the name Black Sea is in the 13th century, and we think that the Turks named it the Black Sea. It's kind of opaque, so there you go. Not very exciting. Prior to that, actually, way in the back when, before the Greeks, it was actually called the Inhospitable Sea, meaning that it was difficult to navigate and difficult to travel on. The Greeks came in and had advanced navigational and traveling techniques and renamed it from the Inhospitable Sea to the Hospitable Sea. So it was called the Hospitable Sea after the Greeks conquered it, which I thought was really very clever and wonderfully arrogant of them. And I love a wonderful amount of arrogance. But anyway, so they started calling it the Black Sea, and there's your nomenclature. But let's talk about the Black Sea for a minute. So the Black Sea, like I say, is an inland sea. It's ringed by 6 countries: Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania, Georgia, Russia, and the Ukraine. All have Black Sea coasts, and it is a very popular tourist destination. There's beautiful islands that people live on in the Black Sea. Some military developments in there on islands in the Black Sea. And of course, the tourist destinations that the resorts and things like that are being built up in countries like former Soviet bloc countries like Bulgaria and Romania. Bulgaria particularly is on the capitalism bandwagon and is building it as much as they can to get people to come in and buy condos or stay for a week or whatever. So anyway, might want to look into that for your next vacation travel. If you do happen to travel to Bulgaria or a place like that, let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested in seeing what your travel experiences were like. But despite having a lot of islands in the Black Sea has how do we put this? A sea island of its own, except for it's the reverse of an island. It's a little sea, and that's called the Azov Sea, and it has the distinction of being the shallowest sea in the world. At only 46 feet deep, the Azov Sea, which is connected by the Strait of Kerch or something to the Black Sea. The Black Sea's little island sea is the shallowest sea in the world. Now, the Black Sea is very deep. It's about 7,300 feet deep. But like I say, the Sea of Azov, which is a big, amount of land mass, or covers a lot of land mass, is only 46 deep, being the shallowest sea in the world. Now, I don't know the designation for being called a sea versus being called a lake, but if you look at a map, you can see that the Black Sea is actually a massive amount of water. So it's very much a sea, not a lake. But the interest. Okay, I'm getting into the interesting stuff here. Now, the worst job in the world would be to be a Black Sea fisherman, particularly a deep sea Black Sea fisherman, and I'll tell you why. Because the Black Sea is very nearly dead. Nothing can live in the Black Sea because it has a pyroclastic, what's called a metro. I wrote it down here. A metromycetic layer, which is a layer of superoxygenated water cut off by a layer with a very distinct line, and underneath is a layer of anaerobic water. No oxygen. Nothing lives below that layer of superoxygenated water. Now, the way that this happens in, say, a pond is you will have fertilizer runoff that may cause plants to grow up in the pond. And a lot of people think, oh, well, plants, it's good, right? Water plants growing up in the pond. Not really, because what happens is plants, as you know, produce oxygen, but the plants will produce oxygen that will create this super oxygenated layer on top of the pond, but that will prevent oxygen from getting to the bottom of the pond. And so it basically kills the pond. Except for this top layer, and sometimes you'll see fish like up at the top gasping for air because below is no oxygen and up top is oxygen. That's not the way that it happened that's not the way that it has happened with the Black Sea. The Black Sea is fed by 5 rivers. Don't ask me to name them all. The Southern Bug, the Dnieper, the Dnieper, the something else, but the main one is the Danube that feeds the river. But the Black Sea is also very unusual in that it has a inflow-outflow relationship with the Aegean Sea, the Mediterranean Sea. And what happens is the inflow of the Mediterranean Sea is much more salinic, has a higher saline content, and is much warmer than the outflow going underneath, which has a low saline content and is much colder. And so this creates the difference in salinity creates the layer that I'm talking about, this super oxygenated layer on top of this anaerobic layer where nothing lives. Now, why would you want to visit such a place? Well, it doesn't affect you. You don't drink the you don't breathe the water. You're fine. It doesn't make any difference. And actually, it creates a very interesting phenomenon, and that is that everything that hits the bottom of the Black Sea pretty much stays there. There's no, or very little, I mean, look, if you want to get technical, yes, there's microbacteria that have adapted to do, that have adapted to decompose things in an anaerobic environment, blah, 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 but there's very few of them, and it's not a lot of them. But for the most part, there's nothing down there to eat whatever falls from the surface. And so if you go down to the bottom of the Black Sea, if you can get down 7,300 feet, there are ancient wrecks, including human remains that have not rotted. And we're talking like wooden ships and things like that from the Greek eras and things. So the archaeological treasures that have sunk, the cargo and the ships, and again, human and animal remains that have hit the bottom of the Black Sea stay in tremendously good condition. It's cold down there. That layer I'm talking about also makes a tremendous temperature difference. I mean, you can drop a few feet and the temperature drops a huge amount just because you've hit that layer. You've gone through that layer. And so it's, the temperature drop is absolutely tremendous. And so, and also the anaerobic conditions, things last forever down there. Now, there's another thing. There's some stuff in the soil that are bacteria that will eat up the oxygen as soon as, another reason that there's no oxygen beneath that layer is that it's eaten up by all this bacteria in the soil as quickly as it can be produced. So it stays anaerobic down there. So another interesting thing about the Black Sea, and I don't know why this is, but the Black Sea does not have tides. The Black Sea stays at the same level day in and day out. Now, there are fluctuations in the water level in the Black Sea, but it's not a tide. This is fluctuations over a much longer period of time. And so, islands may be exposed for a little while, and islands may be swallowed up for a little while. Depends on the inflow and outflow, but for the most part, the Black Sea is the outflow of the Black Sea equals its inflow, so it stays at about the same temperature. And why it doesn't have tides in a body of water this huge, I don't know. It's a mystery to me. But anyway, I think I've covered everything I wanted to talk about with the Black Sea here. But I hope that maybe I've inspired you to go and check out this super weird body of water for yourself, or at least research a little bit of the archaeological finds that have occurred along the Black Sea. Well, I'll see you next time in the Shed of Knowledge. I'm John the Storyteller, and I hope that was something interesting.